Him, as Gary Danko said, celebrating his 35th birthday today aboard car number 5. He is from Hope Valley, Rhode Island, in the Carpenters local, number 94, Richard Staskowski. Sitting into the inside of the second row is 00. He is locked up second in the point standings. And on November 16th, Ernie Bertrand and Crystal Hearn will be married. Today he starts third from North Branford, Connecticut, Ernie Bertrand. Next door to him, in car number 2, a driver from Monroe, Connecticut, it's Dwayne Out of Control Knoll. Starting fifth will be the 0 car from Seymour, Connecticut. Stelco's Welding, Halinko Electric, and the Kitchen and Bath Showroom are the sponsors for the car driven by Vin Esposito. Then it will be the 1997 champion aboard car number 61 from Groton. New England Pizza, M&M Concrete Ceiling, and Showroom Auto Body bring us the King of Speed, Ed Reed Jr. 37, and in the 76 is Edward Heffernan from Waterford, Connecticut. The green flag comes out, and it's a lightning bolt start for Larry Goss. Quickly settling in behind him is Richard Staskowski in the 5, and the first double file battle of the afternoon is for third and fourth. Bertrand trying to jackknife his way on the inside, but all over him like a tarpaulin is Dwayne Knoll. Knoll drops off the pace and scooting into third. A great move by Vinny Esposito. Then it is Thomas. He cannonades his way into the number 4 position. A driver to keep an eye on is Tim Jordan in car number 45. Looking to get close to the 00 of Bertrand, cannot complete the move. Then it is Ed Reed, and a good battle brewing between Tommy Fox in the 90 and the 2 of Knoll. That battle did not last for long, and Tommy Fox was able to grab the spot. Meanwhile, all by his lonesome at the front of the field is Larry Goss, as he already has a pretty substantial lead over the 5 of Staskowski. Trying to make things happen, Tommy Fox was able to thunder his way underneath Ernie Bertrand. So Fox looking comfortable in car number 90. He said there were a lot of things wrong with the car, but they think they got it to where they want it today. Meanwhile, Esposito trying to explode underneath the 5 of Staskowski. They tap dance off the 4th corner. It is Esposito moving into second. Now the drama unfolds. Who will move into third? And Bruce Thomas has the answer, as he is able to lunge his way ahead of Richard Staskowski. So Bruce Thomas, who started in 7th place, has moved up to the top 3. Staskowski is 4th. Quickly, let's go to Gary.
The number 78 car, Ryan Nolan, is starting to slide back a little bit. I just checked in with the crew, and right now they said the car is cutting in and out. They believe it's a carburetor problem on the number 78 car.
The wrong time with which to have one. 7 laps into this 100-lap feature. The pace setter at the front of the field is Larry Goss. Vin Esposito has had some great runs, but some terrible finishes, as he has had a difficult time this year sealing the deal. He has blasted his way into second, and right now he is trying to hold off the track champion. Battle for 4th and 5th. Here comes Tim Jordan, making an aggressive, bold move underneath Staskowski, and Tim Jordan has rifled his way into the number 4 position. So Jordan, he might be the fastest pony in America at this stage of the race, but the man who has the lead is Larry Goss in car number 6. As they romp around the first corner, Esposito holding his ground, trouble for Wendell Daly as Edcar is broken loose, covering the track with steam. Wendell takes it onto the access road, and the question is there any liquid on the speedway? We stay under green. Goss stays into the lead, and the script hasn't changed much in the last 8 or 9 laps or so. Esposito in second and Thomas in third. And the man everybody has to be wary of, because in his young career, he has shown he is pretty good at these long-distance races. That's Tim Jordan in car number 47. Staskowski is next, and Tommy Fox, only the 2nd time he has driven that race car. So even someone who has been around for the 27 years, like Fox has, can be a rookie, and that is the case with him in that car. But he has to be strong because he is holding off at lead. Then it is Bertrand and Joe Curioso. We haven't seen much of him this summer, but we have seen him in the fall final as he greyhounds his way in a top 10 position. Things are heating up at the front of the field. Larry Goss still has the lead, but all over him, like an eye patch on a pirate, is a 0 of Esposito. Lap car of Terry O'Brien might impede Goss's progress. And now Esposito takes off to the outside, maybe trying to set up that slingshot move. Thomas is third, and here comes Esposito. He almost got the nostrils of his car underneath Larry Goss. Did not have enough energy to complete the move. Lap car gets in the way. That's Rick Nelson in the 0-6. And our front runners are able to tiptoe around it. Larry Goss had the bottom of the track covered when Esposito tried to make his move down there. Esposito's going to do it again as he tries to crank it up down low against Goss. So Goss has the spot, but close enough to siphon the gas out of his tank is Esposito in car number 0. Then it's Thomas, followed by Jordan, and Staskowski make up the top 5. Esposito, a pretty hungry driver. As he put things into perspective at our pit party today, he said he's just here to have a good time, and if he could win a race, it would just be an added bonus. Right now, he is looking for some bonus cash underneath Larry Goss. He exploits the bottom groove again, and Goss has veto power. Now, Bruce Thomas changes his tactics. He goes up high as he tries to gain second away from Esposito, and Esposito is able to hem him in. So that venture to the outside did not pay off to Thomas, and there's trouble for Rick Nelson in between turns 3 and 4. Also Durante and Carter for 2007. So we are ready to fire him up again. Remember, we will not count a lap until the next green flag lap is completed. And it was an electrifying restart by Larry Goss as he was able to shock the rest of the field. Then Esposito in a 0 wanders up high, trying to get some bite, and that might mean that Bruce Thomas will be able to get the nose of his car underneath the 0. So the top 3 could fit inside a lunchbox. Here comes Esposito to the outside of Goss, looking for some momentum. He is on the high banking where that momentum is possible, but he doesn't have an answer to get by Larry Goss, as he is able to hold off Esposito for the time being. But Esposito is going to give it another shot as he is all over Larry Goss like a badge on a police officer. But it is Goss on the bottom, is able to hold off Esposito, who has the adrenaline from the high groove to his liking. Rick Nelson is in trouble again. He is on the grass in the middle of the infield. He is able to backpedal that one onto the access road, and we stay under green. Esposito is able to get the best of the 47 of Tim Jordan, but Jordan has been strong all race, is able to get that position back. The man everybody is chasing is Larry Goss. Bruce Thomas is going to make a run on the outside as he nitros his way, trying to get rush hour his way past the 6 of Goss. Good strong move by Thomas. And let's see if he can wear out the 6 of Goss. He is going to give it a great shot coming down the backstretch as they stomp their way into turn number 4. Thomas is able to get the nostril of that car ahead of the 6. And by a couple of inches at the start-finish line, Stallworth has the lead over the 35 of Bruce Thomas. In third is Tommy Fox. He's smart enough to realize in a big race like this one, he should just hang back from the leaders, and that's what he's doing. He has older tires from Hoosier, but he's doing a great job for himself. Here comes Goss trying to go underneath Tim Jordan. He is unable to pull off the move with 68 laps to go.
As they go off turn number 2, Bruce Thomas leads the way. He is chased by Tim Jordan. Larry Goss runs in the 3rd spot. Now his team car of Ed Reed Jr. has moved into the 4th position. Then it is Vin Esposito and Ernie Bertrand in the top 6. Goss will try to hold off the charge of his teammate as Reed makes a move to the outside as they go down the backstretch. He'll look to pull even as they thunder into turn 3. He has the car even with his car. They come off turn number 4. It is Ed Reed to the outside. Will try to power bomb his way around the number 6. Able to hold him off on the inside, but for how long? Now Reed moves the nostrils of that car out in front. He'll try to clear the 6 as they come off turn 4 with Vin Esposito right behind. Ed Reed will move into position number 3 as they're in turn number 2. Goss still hanging on the back side of him. Now Reed clears the 6 machine. He'll try to track down second place Tim Jordan. Then we have Ernie Bertrand as they'll pass the lap car of Terry O'Brien. Further back, Dave Zemke will try to hold off the 2 of Dwayne Knoll and beginning to make a resurgence with the 78 of Ryan Nolan. Then we have Rich Staskowski and Tom Fox in the 90. Bruce Thomas Jr. with 11 wins on the season and a track championship already in hand leads him down turn number 2. He is chased by Tim Jordan. Jordan, who grabbed his first win of the year way back on the 21st of April, has 4 feature wins so far to his credit in 2007. And the best battle right now is the 3 cars behind them, where Larry Goss is going to try to take advantage of a little slip by Ed Reed and try to move the 6 back into the 3rd position. Vin Esposito has been strong from the drop of the green flag. He sits in 5th as the 3 cars freight train their way off turn number 1. Goss now sees a small advantage to the inside of Ed Reed. Reed able to hold him off as they go into turn number 3. Once again, Goss checks up on the back bumper. They race off the stripe. It is Reed still hanging on to the spot, but Goss looks to find a way around his partner as they go down the backstretch. Now there's an opening to the inside, and Goss sticks the nose of the 6 underneath the 61. Ed Reed hanging on the outside. Now Goss with a burst of speed. He will reclaim position number 3, and following in his slipstream is a 0 of Vin Esposito. He is going to drop kick Ed Reed Jr. back to the 5th spot. Ernie Bertrand continues to run in the 6th position. Then we fall back where Ryan Nolan has gotten by the 5 of Richard Staskowski, and he will move into the top 7 as he comes off turn number 4. Front of the field, it is still Bruce Thomas Jr. as he roars off turn number 4 with the lead with just 57 laps left to go. Tim Jordan with a strong run sits in that 2nd spot in the black 47. Now Vin Esposito has gotten by Goss for position number 3. He looks to pull away from Goss as they go down the backstretch. Now Ed Reed will once again take up battle with his partner as they come off turn 4. He looks a bit to the outside of Larry Goss as they go into turn number 1, and Reed will try to work his way around the 6 as they go off turn 2 and head down the backstretch. Now Ernie Bertrand is closing in on that battle as they go into turn number 3. Goss to the outside as they come off turn 4. Race back, but Larry Goss able to hold off the charge of Reed as Reed tucks the 61 back behind the 6. And now Bertrand has moved in to make it a 3-car battle as they go down the backstretch. Once again, Ed Reed Jr. goes to the outside of Larry Goss. He will try to work his way around the 6 machine. He gets the front end of that car out in front of the 6. They go down the backstretch, and now he has overtaken Goss and reclaims position number 3 as they go, position 4 as they come off turn 4 with Ernie Bertrand now closing the distance. And here comes Ryan Nolan as he's moved up through the field, and he will sit in 7th.
Well, Bruce Thomas is able to navigate his way past the lap car of Richard Durante, so he has a gold mine going for him with Jordan in 2nd and Esposito in 3rd, and the battle intensifies for 4th and 5th. Ed Reed has a spot trying to bulldoze his way underneath the 61 was Larry Goss that time, and he couldn't make it happen. They go past Darrell Taggart in car number 15, the lap car. Neither one has any difficulty doing that. Dwayne Knoll in trouble in car number 2 as that car has swallowed some speed bumps, and it will just about be undernourished as it crawls on the bottom of the track. But nobody near. Bruce Thomas almost in solitary confinement at the front of the year. So Thomas opened up the season with a victory in a 100-lap feature. And if he can end the season, he will have with a win, he will have a heck of a pair of bookends. And in between those 2 bookends will be 10 other victories. So right now he is continuing to extend his lead over Tim Jordan, as Tim Jordan came back here at the Speedbowl after a few weeks off in August. And this is the best run that he has had since his return from in the middle of the season. So going strongly is Jordan. Vin Esposito, he has done this before, but he had a hard time making the car last for 30 laps. So we'll see if he will be able to pull it off now with the distance 100 laps. And the best battle is for 4th and 5th. And Larry Goss has tried every trick at his disposal except for pogo sticking over that 61 of Ed Reed, and nothing has worked. Again, he tries to move down low, but Ed Reed is just too quick and too clever to make a slip-up. Ed Reed won back-to-back in this division this year, which is unusual. Of course, Bruce Thomas has also done it, but Ed Reed has really not driven much of a late model since he won the 1997 championship. He was also the 2004 winner in the SK Modified. And who could forget the celebration that happened that day right here at the Town Fair Tire Finale. Tommy Fox trying to hold off Joe Curioso, and now here is Thomas trying to put those guys a lap down. He gets by Curioso, and with a nice assertive power moves, here comes Thomas, and he has lapped a couple of more cars. He's had a great car on many occasions this year, but today it might be even more potent than it usually is. As Timmy Jordan, he almost needs Clark Kent's X-ray vision to keep track of Bruce Thomas, because there are 3 lap cars between he and the 35. They're driven by Fox, by Curioso, and by Dave Zemke. So Tim Jordan, even though he's not far away from Thomas at the track, about a 4-hour cab ride, there are 3 lap cars standing in the way before he can ever get to the 35 of Thomas. Now the passing flag is given to Taggart, and the man who does the passing is Dave Zemke, and it is the 47 of Jordan. He really has a long way to go to derail the victory hopes of Bruce Thomas. And we've seen Thomas have some impressive wins this year and some dominating wins, but this one has been about as one-sided as a mirror, because Thomas has been much the best car through the first 63 laps. Timmy Jordan has to worry about his uncle Tom in car number 90. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, he is giving his fellow drivers a seminar, as Thomas is in turn number 4, while everybody else is at the end of the backstretch. So down to the final 35 laps, Bruce Thomas Jr. comfortably in front.
And he'll look to widen that lead as he goes into turn number 3, where now Tim Jordan enters 3 as Thomas comes off 4. Then we fall back in the field, where Vin Esposito, enjoying a strong run, sits in that 3rd spot. And now Ryan Nolan has moved into position number 4, and he's going to try to track down the 0 of Esposito as they go into turn 1. Then we have Ed Reed Jr. running 5th. Richard Staskowski has moved into the 6th spot, the number 5 machine. Then it is Goss in the 6th, who is 6th, and then we fall back to Ernie Bertrand, who's just dropped a lap down as Thomas has passed him by. Thomas roars off turn number 4 with just 32 laps left to make the season be a bookend. He grabbed the opening weekend win on Budweiser Modified Nationals weekend, and he will look to close it here on Town Fair Tire Finale weekend. The 35 looks strong as he comes off turn 4, clicks off another lap, and it just makes just a shorter time for Jordan to try to work some magic and close in on the 35 as they go off turn 2. Trouble right on the front straightaway as the 15 of Taggart spins around. Will look to stay under green if he can get that car fired up, but the yellow will come out with just 30 laps left in the Town Fair Tire 100.
But 2 out of 3 wouldn't be bad, but he's still got 25 laps to go before that happens. and he's able to get a pretty good getaway against a combination of Esposito and Jordan. Now Jordan slithers his way to the outside, and a great comeback for Ryan Dolan in car number 78. He is on the verge of taking third away on the outside from Esposito. So keep an eye on that green and orange and blue car. He is Velcro together with Esposito. What a battle for third and fourth. And behind them, a great confrontation for fifth and sixth between Staskowski and Ghost. And right there with him is Ed Reed. Now on the outside, here is Dolan. He is able to take third away from Vin Esposito. So a power surge for the 78 car, as it was almost sleepwalking through the first 70 laps, and now has come to life. Now remember what Ryan Dolan told us during the pit party, that almost all his races this year were extra distance events. He is used to the long haul, so perhaps he saved a lot of his car for this moment. 21 laps to go. A good three-way skirmish deeper in the field between Staskowski, Reed, and Goss, as those three cars could fit inside a Dixie Cup. And trying to join that battle is the 38 of Curioso. So Thomas is pulled away from Jordan again. A driver to keep your eye on. He might have the most smoke here on the speedway, and that is Ryan Dolan, as he is pulling away from the zero of Esposito. But we're down to the final 19 laps. Thomas has been the dominant factor almost since the opening segments of the race. Tim Jordan almost needs a lasso in that car, or a court order, or something to capture that 35 car as he threatens to run and hide again. Then the 78 of Dolan, the feel-good story of this race, because that car was out in the twilight zone for most of it, and it has come back into civilization, roaring hard in third place with Esposito in fourth.
As Bruce Thomas comes off turn number 4, Tim Jordan will try to slice into the advantage in the final 16 laps. Then we have the 78 machine of Ryan Nolan is running in the third spot. Vin Esposito has gotten by Richard Staskowski for fourth. We fall back to Staskowski, who is in fifth. Then it is Ed Reed Jr., Larry Goss, and now Tom Fox has worked his way into the top 8. Front of the field, it is Bruce Thomas Jr. who will clear the 37 of Terry O'Brien, and put him another lap down, move into the back bumper of the 06 machine. That's his Rick Nelson as they cross the stripe. Also following his wake is the 47 of Tim Jordan. Jordan now clears the 06 machine, and the 78 is trying to track down the 47 of Jordan as they go into turn 3.
Doesn't appear to be gaining much, but he's still got 13 laps in which to make a move. If you could sum up a season in 100 laps, this is what you'll see in the late models. Bruce Thomas, the brilliance, the domination, as once again he gets around Taggart. A little sideways coming off the turn. Maybe the tires are starting to go away in the 35 car. We'll see if Jordan can take advantage of that in car number 47, as he is able to air rifle his way past the 15 of Taggart. Also trying to make the move is Ryan Nolan. So Nolan is able to get by the lap car. So it is a three-way fight up at the top, but nobody has more ammunition than Bruce Thomas. This time he is much smoother coming off the turn with 10 laps to go. Esposito trying to get by Taggart. Then it's Staskowski, followed by Reed. Then Goss, Curioso, and Tommy Fox. And at the start of the season, we thought that number 90 car was going to be a dominant factor. And it didn't matter whether Alan Coates drove it, or Ron Uhas, or Tommy Fox. They have had trouble getting that car to turn this year. That hasn't been the case for Bruce Thomas. He is 8 laps away from finishing his season the way he started it, with an extra length victory. Tim Jordan has tried, but he has been not able to make any inroads at all into that impressive lead opened up by Thomas. Nolan is third. He's gaining a little bit of ground in the 47, but does he have enough time to move into the runner-up position? But this is a pretty good run by the kid from Georgia, Vermont. He never saw this racetrack until yesterday, and right now he is running in the top 3 and gets a little high in the corner, and that cost him a little momentum in his battle to take second away from Jordan. But the man in the spotlight, he has ended the drama early. Rick Nelson gets down to allow plenty of room for Thomas, as the last thing that Thomas wants to do is to make contact with a lap car. That did not happen. Nelson got out of the way, and still, the man on Easy Street is Bruce Thomas. He could have a lazy boy recliner in that car and relax, maybe a bag of chips, because it has not been too strenuous a run for the driver of car number 35. Passing flag given to Durante. So it has stopped to becoming a race. It has now become a coronation. With 2 laps to go, Bruce Thomas Jr. looking for his second 100-lap win of the season.
And Bruce Thomas crosses the stripe as the clock begins to tick down with just a lap and a half left as the 35 goes down the backstretch. Now Tim Jordan has to hold off the advance of the 78 of Ryan Nolan, but he has one more time as they come off turn number 4 with the white flag out to grab second away from Jordan. Thomas cruises by the 16 of Dave Zemke and will set up for coming off turn number 4. The checkered flag in the air for the bench. And we have trouble in turn 4 with the yellow, turn 2 with the yellow out as the 47 of Tim Jordan. Turn number 4, James Warner has the green flag in hand. Green is out and we are underway. And Bruce Thomas stomps it into turn number 1. He has the advantage and the lead. Ryan Nolan settles into second behind him, but the power of Thomas begins to pull away as they go into turn 3. White flag in the air. Bruce Thomas off turn number 4, chased by Nolan. Vin Esposito runs third, and Richard Staskowski moves into fourth. Bruce Thomas down the backstretch. Will Nolan have one last bullet to fire as they go into turn number 3? The 35 rockets its way off turn number 4, down to the checkered flag. Bruce Thomas with the win. Coming home second is the 78 of Ryan Nolan. In third was the 0 of Vin Esposito. Fourth, the 5 of Richard Staskowski.
Man who has done this a dozen times in 2007. Here he is. Bring it on, Bruce Thomas Jr. Bruce, how nervous did you get with that restart with 2 laps to go?
I'll tell you what, that kid's a hell of a driver. I guess that's what I got to look forward to on tour when I go there in a couple of weeks. About 60 of those guys, but he had a great run. I wasn't too worried because my car is just so damn. When it's right, it's right. It's just easy to drive. Big thanks to my crew. We brought this thing home last night and rescaled it back up. And oh man, just thank everybody that had anything to do with me this year. Real special thanks going out to Debbie Gator from Jupiter Graphics. We had some complications and she didn't end up on our shirt, but we love you, Deb, and we'll always be with you.
Well, how difficult was it for you to keep your focus when you had such a big lead throughout most of that race?
My brother's the best spotter at the track, plain and simple, and he tells me 1, 2, 3 car lengths, whatever I need to know, and he gives me a little word, phrase, he calls it in your own atmosphere, and when I get in my own atmosphere, you can pretty much back off, and my right rear kept getting hot, and I was on that long run, but the cushion was so big I was able to just baby it. I guess I can't complain, it's fast.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, he won the championship 2 weeks ago. But today he showed what being a champion is all about as he won the final event of the season. Ladies and gentlemen, how about one more hand for Bruce Thomas Jr.?